皆様ごきげんよう、メイド水木のやなら配信へようこそいらっしゃいました。Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my stream and welcome to my very first Japanese teaching stream. しっかり学べよ。I'm gonna read your names. やったさん、ワクワク、こんばんは。Thank you for joining. ブルーノさん、こんにちは。レイナさん、しっかり学べよ。Yes.Ready to learn well. Alex さん、こんばんは。ごきげんよう。Thank you for joining. And Jun さん、Good evening. はじめまして、おめでとう。ありがとうございます。Okay, so, I'm hoping that you can actually hear me because I sometimes forget to turn on my mic and everything. Let me know if the audio isn't working well. But here we have my very first guest on my channel ever.It is Evolite さんということで、Evolite さんこんにちは。If you wouldn't mind, please, if you could introduce yourself, that would be great. どうぞ。
はい、こんにちは、こんばんは。Evolite と申します。俺は、キツネ耳 Vtuber です。よろしくお願いします。Hi, I'm Evo. I do singing, I do stuff. I hope we're gonna learn a lot today, and yeah, it's nice meeting you.
ありがとうございます。ということでね、本日2人とも獣耳です。Lo and behold, we both have furry ears. You know? はい、ということで、So I'll explain how this is gonna work. Evolite さん here is my guinea pig of the day. Yay. For those of you who are...You know, who has been here to my streams before, you know how bad my internet is. I've never really thought about doing a collab because of it, but here we are. And as you know, I am really bad at technology. For those of you who didn't know, I didn't even know that I needed a Windows computer until I debuted as a VTuber. I don't know how that worked, but it has been an interesting journey. So,Evolite-san here decided to put himself on the altar for the sacrifice as a guinea pig, and I cannot be grateful enough. So, はじめまして for those of you who don't know me, I'm Mizuki Meido. Mizuki is my first name, Meido last name. I am a half dog, maid, Japanese teaching VTuber. I usually post Japanese teaching videos. And, well, I guess I'm gonna stream teaching Japanese from now on. Hi.頑張れ、ありがとうございます。Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you to all of you as well. So, this is a 1-hour class where I teach certain topics that the students, aka my guinea pigs wants to learn. はい、そうです。So, comments and questions are more than welcome. And for those of you who actually want to learn with us, I'll be giving you a homework, so stay tuned until the end. So, 1 hour, let's go. If you have a notebook,I don't know. I guess you can take notes. I made PowerPoints. I tried. Hi. So, Evolite-san.
Hi.
I know that you chose 2 topics that you wanted to learn today. Do you remember what they were?
I believe it was different ways to refer to yourself, as well as ways that you can be finishing your sentences. Preferably the more polite ways and how not to be so brash or rude about it.
Perfect. 完璧です。In which language should we use? Any language that you feel more comfortable is totally fine. はい、先生。はい、頑張ります。先生、頑張ります。今日は水木先生です。Call me 水木先生 just for the day. はい、ということで、OK, PowerPoint time. OK, oh wait, we already done that. はい、自己紹介終わりましたね。OK, so we'll be covering 2 points, I guess, today.Ways of referring yourselves in Japanese, and then we're also going to be going through how to end your sentences today. So, first of all, eyes in Japanese. Evolite-san, how do you say I in Japanese? What is the way that you would normally use?
The way that I've been using up to this point would be ore.
Ore is pretty common, and I know Evolite-san thought that it might not be the best way, but don't worry, it's actually pretty common for people to use it. But, Evolite-san, and chat, I'm gonna ask you questions. Do you know how many eyes in Japanese there are? Do you know how many eyes there are in Japanese?
6 or 7?
6 or 7. Good answer. Chat, what do you think? Well, I don't know if I'll actually be able to answer your questions or like read your comments because, you know, bad internet. Anyways, Alex on 5. 5. Over 100. Over 100. That's quite a lot. That's like times 20 with 5. Okay. 8, maybe less. Well, so this is the thing. As far as I know, there are at least 70. Can't believe that. たくさんあります。There's at least 70.
なんで？
やばいでしょ？なんで is a good question too. Why? Well, there's kind of like a lot of reasons why. Nobody actually really knows how many there are because it really depends. The thing about Japanese eyes, or I guess pronouns, I don't really think like pronouns, the English word for pronouns really fits in the Japanese idea of eyes, but the reason why is because there's people that can invent them, you know, people can invent them, and there were a lot of different eyes throughout history, and also depending on the the place that you're from, depending on different dialects that people speak, there are a lot more. K1 さん、こんばんは。Oh, so many, right? そう、だからすごくたくさんあります。There's a lot. And nobody can really tell how many because, you know, people can't count. そうなんです。Okay, so これです。There are many ways of saying I in Japanese, but most of them are not used in real life. This is the important part. Most of them are not used in real life, but the places that are used in anime. So, アニメではよく使われるのがあります。So, like, there's quite a bit that are used in anime, but when you actually decide to use some of them in real life, you're gonna sound like a high school theater kid. I don't know if that's a good way of explaining it, but aka it's like awkward. 日本語難しい。そう、日本語難しいんですよ。So, anime has taught me so much. Kind of guessed it right then. Hi. So, most of them are not used in real life. So, we'll be going through the ones that are actually used in real life. Okay, ということで、I don't know if you can see the PowerPoint, but Evolite さん、when you do, would you mind reading the 3 that is up there? お願いします。
The first one would be 私, the second one would be 僕, and the last one would be 俺.
素晴らしい。私、僕 and 俺. So, these 3 are the mainly used ones in real life. And then, they kind of differ depending on, how can I say, like the situation and the character, if that makes sense. 現実はつまらない使わないから現実はつまらないでしょうか。そう、一人称がいっぱいある。そうそう、一人称ほんとたくさんね、ありますよね。Okay, so we'll be going through the different ones. We'll start with 私。Okay, so 私 is the most common way that, I would say maybe the most common way that people use it. It's mainly used by women, but here's the trick. It is not just used by women. It is also used by men who are in professional situations. Hi. So, have you ever heard of a guy saying 私? 聞いたことありますか?
Yes. Actually, in specific VTuber events that I've attended, sometimes you would have the MC or the host, whenever they were talking about the organizers or sponsors of the event, they would refer to themselves as 私 when they were trying to explain how they realize or look up to these people.
That's perfect then. Yes, I feel like most Japanese people would refer to themselves as watashi, like you said, in professional situations. And you probably will see a lot of VTubers who are Japanese, who are male, who would refer to themselves as watashi as well. There's a lot of big VTubers from big corporate companies who are men who say watashi as well. Like, 2時3時とか。そう。だからwatashi is used by anybody. So it is a unisex one. そうです。It's unisex. And then we have 僕。はい。僕, this is mainly used by men. It has a softer feel and it feels politer and nicer than 俺。 So this is the first one that most men use. はい。And then we have 俺 the one that Evolite-san uses. So 俺 is also mainly used by men, and it has more of a masculine like feel to it. It can also feel kind of like wild. I don't know if that makes sense.
そうなんですか。
はい、そうです。So, and this is something that you do want to avoid using in professional situations. So, I mean, it might be really uncommon, but just say that, I don't know if you, I don't know, one day end up going to a business trip in Japan or something, or it might be something that you don't want to use. はい。I just arrived. Glad I'm not that late. あ、イレッツさん、こんばんは。Welcome. 女の子でも僕使うこともありますよね。そうなんですよね。So yes, like K1-san just said, there are girls who says 僕. We call them 僕っ子 in Japanese. You might see VTubers who are girls who use 僕. はい。So far, 何か質問はありますか? Do you have any questions?
I've actually seen, like, there was this one lady that I collaborated with once, and we were playing a first-person shooter game. And for the most part, she used watashi, and later on in the game, she changed it to atashi.
Oh,
A
atashi.
few minutes later in the game, that became boku. And by the end of it, when we inevitably died many, many times, it was just ore.
Oh wow, that's like a lot of different ones.
She changed like 3 or 4 times in the span of the 2 hours, and it was very impressive to see, nonetheless.
Oh, that's kind of cool though. But yeah, so atashi is more of a casual way of saying watashi for girls. I would say people probably will use it between friends. That's my idea of it. And I used to use it when I was in kindergarten. But it has more of a, like, a cute, in a not bad way, childish kind of feel to it. And so that's atashi. And then yeah, boku ore. I feel like there's more people who uses boku ore if they're girls on the internet. I don't really know anybody in real life who uses it, but you see a lot of those people on the internet, which is cool. So なんかかっこいい。そうなんですよ。So, I mean, I would say, I had a friend who used to refer to herself as boku when we were in elementary school, but she changed it up when we moved on to junior high school. So it can be a phase thing, ですね。
So it's a bit more of like just the way that you perceive yourself and in context to other people, I guess.
そうです、そうです。Yes, definitely. And I feel like for anybody, to be fair, 私 might be the most safe one. You know, because it's unisex, it's more polite anyways. So yeah.
Gotta say, I'm sorry. Gotcha.
そうです。But like the girl that you collabed with, you can actually change it up as well. So for example, I have an older brother. お兄ちゃんがいます。I have an 兄がいます。My お兄ちゃん, my older brother, he changes up quite often. So when he's in business settings, he would use watashi, you know, to keep it professional and polite. And then when he is talking to relatives, especially my grandparents, he uses boku because he wants to come off as that soft, nice grandson so that maybe he can get more pocket money, maybe.
天才。
天才、そう、天才なんで。He's a weirdo, but he is a genius that way. そうそう。And then when he's talking to friends, he changes it up to 俺。So yeah, so you can change it up. And also with my father, 私のお父さんも、父も結構変えますね。あ、good afternoon. あ、神様がいらっしゃってる。
神様だ。
神様だ。あれ？Good afternoon. Hi. So, we're talking about pronouns in Japanese. そうですね。But also my father, like, he uses watashi in business settings, and anytime else he says 僕. So yeah, you can change it up. That's the reason why I said that 俺 isn't bad at all. 俺全然大丈夫です。あ、俺はセクシーって。
でもです。
レイナさんが。俺はセクシーかもしれない。そう。なので、俺でも大丈夫です。はい。
あ、イケメンになった。
そう、イケメンが使うやつ。なんで気にしないでください。It's totally fine. はい。ダハハハって。ダハハハ。そうです。Oh yeah, so I actually wanted to talk a little bit about like, characters in anime. So that you can maybe get a little bit of a feel of like who uses what. はい。ということで、エボライトさん、What anime do you like to watch? 好きなアニメありますか？
いっぱいいいですか？
いっぱいある。いっぱいあっていいんですよ。
じゃあ、少年と、なんか、青年と、なんだっけ？ポケモンは何ですか？
ポケモンか。ポケモンは、I guess 少年？ポケモンって少年？私、ポケモンね、実は見たことないんですよね。I feel bad, but I actually have never seen Pokemon before. そうなんです。なんでちょっとね。But okay.
Yeah. Mostly like, shonen stuff aimed to younger audiences, maybe things for slightly older audiences. Sometimes I'll watch lots of things with, fantasy fight scenes, sci-fi, as well as, just cute slice of life items.
Okay, sounds good. やっぱ少年ですかね。少年アニメかな。少年向け作品。はい。まあってことなんですけど、I don't know. ポケモン、I know サトシは俺？皆様教えて、chat, tell me, is サトシは俺 character?
I think he is.
Google 先生に頼りましょう。Google, we call Google 先生。ポケモン、はい、Google 先生に聞いてみましょう。because Google 先生 knows everything. ポケモンの一人称。Okay. ポケモンのキャラクター。It's fascinating to listen to a conversation, get absolutely nothing that's going on, but still feel like I'm learning. That's awesome. はい、主人公。Okay, we're gonna go through and kind of figure out the pronouns of characters. ポケモン、サトシで検索しよう。サトシの一人称。Okay, okay, サトシ calls himself 俺ですね。はい。And apparently, do you know the fake Satoshi?
Is a fake one?
Apparently.
誰?
Never mind. It says that there's a Satoshi that came in like a mirror or something.
Oh, okay. That was
it says that he called himself Boku. はい。
Oh.
俺って言ったら
I actually watched that episode in English, so I never picked up on that one.
So you can kind of see the fluctuation, I guess, in personality from that as well. It's okay, God. Let yourself immerse into Japaneseness. Yes, immerse yourself in Japaneseness. そうですね。So I guess Satoshi is 俺. So, I guess you can tell that he's more on the energetic side. That's the personality that he has. He's like, about adventure. So pronouns can tell like what kind of character they are. あ、そうだ。エボライトさん、進撃の巨人好きですか？
好きだ。
よかった。Okay, just because I'm like so into Attack on Titan, we're gonna go through Attack on Titan characters.
はい。
はい。進撃の巨人の一人称でね、いろいろわかると思います。I think you'll be able to learn a lot from Attack on Titan characters. 例えば、エレン。エレンは俺です。It's kind of obvious to me, Eren's like energetic, he's full of rage.
He's the very lively,
full
of life main character. Well, at least in the first few seasons.
Yeah, I mean,
later on, maybe not so much. But yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's like the first few seasons, Eren is like ore. And then Mikasa, she's a girl, she refers to herself as watashi. And then Armin. I don't know how to pronounce names in English, so like Armin maybe? Armin?
Yeah, Armin. It's Armin.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So Armin は僕です。So, Armin has a softer personality. He's like a lot more, I guess humble can be the right word for it.
So more soft-spoken, more gentle, I'd say.
そうですね. He's very soft-spoken. So he refers to himself as 僕. And then, Jan.
In English, I believe they call them John, so yeah.
Oh, John, really? That's so
yeah,
different.
It's like the French John, yeah, it's impressive, isn't it? Yeah.
全然違う。はい。まあそう、ジャンは俺です。
あ
あ。はい。He's also like ね、なんかうわーって感じなので、He's 俺キャラクター。とか、コニー、like コニー？コニーも俺。He's also an 俺キャラクター。But then we have like ベルトルト。
Bertolt, yeah.
Okay, he is a book character. You know, he's a lot more soft. You know, he's a lot more on the gentle side, I guess, of personality. He refers to himself as book. Hi. And then we have Ervin 団長。団長、みんな大好き団長。そう、団長は私です。Because he's on the professional. You know, he's a professional person. He has a really good job, I guess. I don't know how much they make, but you know.
It's a really respected position.
はい、そうです。なので、エルヴィン団長 refers to himself as 私。So, do you kind of like starting to see, you know, the difference in characters and their pronouns?
I'm really getting to see at least like the character archetypes that you can fit these specific ways to refer themselves in. You would get characters that, you know, sometimes confuse me, such as, for example, Captain Levi or Reiner, and those two are particularly like I believe they're stern characters, but I don't think that Reiner would be using, for example, Boku.
So yes.
Yeah, that throws me for a bit of a loop.
Perfect. そうです。ライナーは俺。ライナー does say 俺。And Levi Hitch actually calls himself 俺 as well. はい。
But they don't quite fit the character archetype of, you know, brash and loud and energetic.
Oh, this is another thing. So, 本山さんこんばんは。The main island is Germanic. German names and even the city is, yeah. So I think like the way of pronouncing names are really different because in Japanese we might follow more of like, you know, just how it's spelled. So maybe that's a different thing. 偉い人は私を使うことが多いね。そうですね。Yeah, just like K1-san said, people who are, you know, higher up in social status, I feel like it's a lot more common for those people to use 私. But so historically speaking, don't take my word for it too much, because I might be, I'm not a scholar. でも、僕 used to be a way of referring yourself as a servant, and so it was a more humbling way. But 俺 was kind of used to kind of like exaggerate your social status. It was kind of a way to make yourself look more stronger. So that might be the case with Levi Hitcho. He might want to have himself look a little bit more stronger to other people's eyes. そうです。そう。まあ歴史的にね、なんか僕はしもべっていう単語から来ていたりねしますので、そういう違いがねあったりもしますね。So I have a feeling that in Japan, elementary school kids, elementary school boys, when they turn to like 9-year-old, 10-year-old of age, they suddenly all of them switch to 俺 because they want to act cool. そう。
サトシみたい。
サトシみたい、そうです。サトシみたい。僕 in Chinese still means servant until this days. It's the same in Japanese, so the kanji itself means the servant. So, 僕ね、the kanji for 僕 does mean servant. そうです。So yeah, that's it for pronouns. So again, Evolite-san and chat, you can switch it up. And
depending on who we're talking to.
So it's depending on who you're talking to and also depending on the situation too. So it's a lot more free. You can also kind of change your personality, I guess, depending on what you're saying. So that's kind of another interesting way of watching anime too. You will be able to see a lot more like depth in characters as you know this. So, 下僕。しもべ、下僕、そうですね。はい。わかりました。よかったです。So, I guess that is it for eyes in Japanese.
やったー。
これも終わった。はい。ということで、次。So, the next topic that we'll be covering is this form. ということで、これですね。Like we were talking about, this is one of the most basic ways to end sentences in Japanese. So there's actually two ways of ending sentences in Japanese. 我が輩我が輩ね。So 我が輩 is a fictional. Well, it used to not be fictional, but currently it's a fictional way of saying I in Japanese. Like 我が輩は猫であるね。
なんで猫
There's so many. はい。そうです。So, だです again is one of the most basic ways to end sentences. ということで、エボライトさん質問です。How do you currently end sentences?
Unfortunately, to the people who are very respectful, I have been using da. But I believe that is the full proper way.
Okay, well, I guess you're gonna learn how to speak a little bit more formally today. Hi. So there's actually two different ways of ending sentences in Japanese, and this is just one of them. The other one is called the masu form. Masu form. 聞いたことありますか? Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard desmas being used quite interchangeably depending on if they're talking about items or people or actions.
So yes. I think you said something really important there. So actions is the biggest difference. Wait, I don't know why this is here. I guess this is also, yeah. I kind of forgot what I put it on my PowerPoints. Anyways, here it says, be careful with 役割語. Really quick, 役割語 is an idea in Japanese that is used in fictional characters. So in Japanese, ways of ending sentences are extremely important. And just like 俺、私、僕, there's actually a lot of fictional ways that people end sentences. The really easy one is 鳴杜. Like, he ends his sentences with だってばよ, you know? 俺様は元気だってばよ. But だってばよ is very fictional. It was invented for Naruto, and it doesn't follow any like grammatically correct ways. So those are called 役割語, and if you try to learn Japanese through anime, you might actually pick up those fictional ways of ending sentences. So be careful of that.
質問先生。
はい、質問どうぞ。
ですわとでござるは役割語ですか？
ですはもでござるも役割語です。はい。So ですは is so popular right now, right? So ですは is 役割語 for お嬢様. So like rich debutante ladies, I would say. So だってばよ懐かしい懐かしいです。Yeah, took me years to learn that だってばよ wasn't real. Same as シャナロまあでもいろいろねあります。So yes, so this wa is 役割語 only used in fictional stories. And what was the other one? もう一つ何でしたっけ？でござる。ござるは samurai term です。ござるはね、usually only used in samurai. So like, you know, in TV shows that covers history. So that was a thing, I guess, 200 years ago. So そうなんですよ。でござる was used by samurai though. I personally find it cute though. I have met people, like, you know, tourists who come to Japan and like, you know, they'll be asking me directions and they'll be like, ござるか? And I'll be like, that's kind of cute. But yes, ござる is samurai term. そうです。ござるは役割語です。いい質問ですね。侍と忍者、確かに侍と忍者。ね、ninja also uses ござる as well. はい。So in other words, if you find anime characters or game characters that says ござる, it's kind of like their characteristic. They probably are samurai or ninja characters or who are really into history. そう。で、ござる初耳の本当ですか？ござるね、結構ね、使えますよ。There's quite a lot of people who want to use. はい。ござる。Okay, ということで、today we're gonna go through the this format. でも、the this format are used for sentences ending when a sentence doesn't end with a verb. So, ます, you said before that, you know, like people change it through like actions. So, action words, verbs, you use ます form. So, the this form is used for sentences that doesn't end with a verb. So that's kind of like the difference. That's the biggest difference ですね。はい。あ、マンディさん、Hello、こんにちは。It's used in movies too, but used in Edo time. そうです、そうです。Edo period ね。ござる is used in Edo period. We got new lore from the Fox Boy. らしいですよ。
でござるじゃないよ。
でござるじゃないよ。はい。そうですね。ということで、これ、we'll go through the difference between this format. So, is actually a written language. People don't talk about this as often, but Japanese actually has written language and spoken language. They're a little bit different. はい。So, sentences that ends with they are mostly used for written languages. And somehow, although commonly used in anime, it is not used in real life. はい、そうなんです。So this is another thing that people get from anime. So I know there's a lot of characters that says but not really used in real life. あんまり使われないね。そうですよね。あんまり使わない。The times that I would use it is when I'm talking to myself. But that's kind of like it. So
I guess this comes from that, anime was, primarily based off of manga or light novels.
そうですね。That might be the case. 確かに確かに。Also, that is also called 断定形. This is kind of getting a little bit more technical, but like Japanese culturally is a language that you're not supposed to say things straightforward. Everything is supposed to be sugar-coated. I wouldn't say sugar-coated, but like you have to talk in a very roundabout way. And that is kind of like a way of ending sentences when you know things for certain, when you know things for sure. And that's another reason why it's not used in real life as much.
It's too direct, I see. Gotcha.
そうですね. It is very direct. Too direct, maybe. はい。そうです。And then we have です。So, です is spoken, or in other words, colloquial language. It is polite. It is a part of keigo, which is the polite language, honorifics in English. And this is the way most people speak. はい。So that's the difference. So, なので、there's other ways of ending sentences. For example, it doesn't mean that you can't use you can use but you usually want to put something else after it to make it more soft. For example, like, yeah, you just say そうだよ or like そうだよねとか、そうだなとか. So usually people would put additional letters after it to make it more soft. だよ、そうそうそう。今日疲れたよとかね。だよ。そうです、そうです。疲れた is a verb, never mind. かわいいだよ。いや、違うな。I can't think of a good sentence with だよ。なんか、だよがちょっと思いつかない。まあでもそうですね。So far 何か質問はありますか？Any questions?
For now, I don't think so. Actually, you got your da and des, but I've noticed that sometimes you would have much more elongated forms of these, I believe, if you were trying to be more formal with other people.
Yes. So, 敬語そう。まだあんまり仲良くない人は目上の人に使うのが敬語。その通りです。So, 敬語 is something that you use between people who are not too close to yet, or to people who are, higher above in social status. So, ございます。そうですね。ヤタさん just commented ございます。So, 敬語 there's actually 5 levels or 5 different types of 敬語. It used to be 3, but the Japanese government made it 5, like 3 years ago. They decided to make it a lot more, make a lot more different sections of it. But this is what we call 丁寧語. And then we have 尊敬語, 謙譲語. What they mean is that 丁寧 means like just nice. So this is basically just a nice way of speech. But Sonkeigo, sonke means respect. So sonkeigo is a way of showing respect to others. And kenjogo, kenjo means that you are giving something higher up. You're like gifting something up. Or in other words, it's a humbling way of speech. So what are the 5? So I think so like they decided to make kenjogo into 2 different categories, and we also have bikago. Yeah. I will go through them another time because there's a lot to go through when it comes to keigo, sadly.
Oh boy.
はい。まあでも、so this is actually the most friendly, most casual one within keigo. そうです。
So universally speaking, it's the safest to use for everybody, and it's pretty easy to go with. Gotcha. Keep that in mind.
そうですね。And you probably won't really use sonkeigo or kenjogo, like, unless you're in a really interesting situation.
Really interesting situation. I see.
The only times that I use it is when I'm actually a maid in real life. I'm a translator, secretary, kind of a position. That's what I do for my living. The only times that I actually use the other types of keigo is when I'm, in meetings with my master, because my master doesn't speak Japanese that well. Sorry, master. He's trying.
He's doing his best.
He's doing his best. But when I only use them when I'm speaking to people from other companies, when I have to, actually show that respect. So unless you're in those kind of situations, you probably wouldn't be using them. 日本人でも難しそうね。あ、Cancelled さん、ごきげんよう、Good evening. Japanese isn't the most difficult language for nothing. Especially to English native speakers. I think it just has to do with the different ideas. There's a lot of ideas that are different, but Japanese isn't that hard. Don't worry. So I
guess for English speakers though, it's a bit funky though, because as English if we just want to make our words fancier, we just add more syllables and just, make our sentences longer. But in Japanese, you got like this form, this structure to go and follow.
Yeah.
And not to mention that your grammatical sentence is just like flipped compared to ours, right?
Yeah, so Japanese is called the SOV language structure, sentence structures. English is SVO, so like Japanese, we start from subject, which is the same, but then we have the object, and then we have the verb at the end. Well, English, right after the subject, you put the verb, like the action word right after. So the culture is very different as well. Yes, this is what I always say. Language and culture goes hand in hand. And so that's another reason why it can be really difficult. When I started learning English, it was really difficult because I am just not used to, or like I wasn't used to speaking straightforward. And people are like, what the heck are you trying to say? So that can be really different too. Or in Japanese, if I direct translate everything that I'm saying in English into Japanese, people will find me rude. If I direct translate everything I'm saying in Japanese into English, people will just not understand what I'm trying to say. Because I'm being way too sugarcoating everything. So
it's been interesting trying to translate lyrics from songs and stuff like that.
Oh, I bet.
English speakers to sing, and when you just try and translate it directly over, not only will the syllables be out, but like everything would be through like similes and metaphors, and you're like,
oh yes.
What do you mean by the sun hits something?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more metaphors too. I would say that for sure. Yeah, we don't have polite levels in English, as Evo said, so a lot of ideas are hard to grasp, and then 3 times the nouns needed for each level. Yeah, I'm seeing stars now. But, so yeah, honorifics, as far as I know, there's 2 languages that I know that has honorifics, which is Japanese and Korean. And so I think it really has to do with the culture for sure. Most Asian languages has SOV. Kinda. Korean is SOV. Chinese, I think, is SVO too. But yeah, really interesting stuff. European SVO. Yep. European languages seem to be SVO structured. But I think it was really interesting that you said that in English, like to make it more formal, you just add on extra words, right? That's kind of like the same with Japanese too. I wouldn't say you would add words, but when you don't know how to say things more formally, just choose the ones that has a longer sentence. Like, if you look at that, this has one extra letter, right? So this is more formal. That's how you can actually navigate through things. It's not 100% way of doing it, but I would call it a golden rule. You can use that with many different situations. はい。そうですね。あれ? Oh, I guess that was it, maybe? Oh, I thought I had like other parts, PowerPoint. Well, anyways, wait, I'm pretty sure I do. 待って、どこ? Where's my PowerPoint? Maybe I didn't download. That day. まあいいや。I actually wrote down sentence structures. The longer the politer, right? So I actually wanted to practice with you.
はい。
Because my PowerPoint didn't work out, I'm gonna actually put it on the chat. Because 待って。あ、よしって言ったぞ。
はい。
Okay.
大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫です。You didn't see anything. You didn't hear anything. 大丈夫。申し訳ございませんでした。So, that's the longest apology. No, like, the longest apology would be 誠に大変申し訳ございませんでした。See? A lot longer, right? はい。Okay, so, that was supposed to be on the PowerPoint, but it didn't, so I put it on the chat. チャット見えますか？ I put down a sentence structure. そう、これが一番簡単な日本語の文章の作りです。So this is, I would say, the most basic way of making sentences in Japanese. So if you can see, in Japanese it goes I, pronoun, wa, noun or other verbs, other words. It can be adjectives too. This. In English, that would be I am noun. Hi. So I wanted to practice saying this with you. Arabic, Hindi, and older, almost every language, Asian language starts with SOV, which is cool. You don't have to learn, thankfully. It becomes a rap battle at that point. さすがありがとうございます。ということで、Okay, Evolite さん、I was wondering if you could try to introduce yourself in Japanese in whatever pronoun that you choose to use, and by saying this at the end.
じゃあ、
どうぞ。
ですか。Is there any specific thing that I would be introducing, needing to explain in my introduction?
You can say, for example, your name, maybe where you're from. And you can say that you are a VTuber, maybe.
はい。じゃあ、僕はエボライトと申します。オーストラリア人です。いいですか？
素晴らしいです。You said 申します。申します is actually the higher level of 敬語, so you've got it perfectly. 素晴らしいです。さすが。はい。
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I remember reading it one time in somebody else's chat, and I decided I'm going to take this.
Oh, well, see, that's another way of learning languages. You can just steal from other people. I would say that's actually the best way of learning, though. So, 素晴らしいです。僕はキツネのエボです。素晴らしい。そうですね。それも言えます。そう。
キツネの？
キツネ。はい。キツネわかりますか？キツネ。I mean, you know キツネ, of course.
キツネ耳です。
そうです。キツネ耳。そうですね。Mimicking helps. Yes. そうです。Mimicking definitely helps. Hi. So again, that's just the basic way of saying things. Hi. He's just using Kenjogo from the bat. Fake beginner. I know. You're definitely not a beginner, Evolite-san. You're faking things. なんだ。全然初心者じゃない。はい。まあそうですね。So using this sentence structure, you can make so many other sentences. You don't have to start with I, obviously. I can say something like, 私の犬は可愛いです。My dog is cute. You can change that I into something else. Other subjects, like, 日本は寒いです。It's actually not that cold anymore, but 今はあんまり寒くないかも。 今、春になってきましたね。Starting to get into spring, so thankfully it's not as cold. まあでも、とか、暑いですか？オーストラリアは暑いです。ね。はい。とか、わかんない。チョコレートは美味しいです。とか。
チョコレートとチョコどっちがいいですか？
どっちでも大丈夫ですよ。
そうなんですか？
はい。It doesn't really matter. Chocolate or choco? Yeah,何が違うんだろう。I do feel like if it's a name of a product, people would call it choco a little bit more like milk choco. You know, that would be milk chocolate, milk choco. Like dark chocolate will be dark choco. Like white chocolate, white choco. But then when I just say chocolate, like I like chocolate, I just usually say chocolate. So, そう、カタカナ英語、yeah, loan words. カタカナ英語ね、ちょっと変なのが多いんでね。そう。But, yeah. So, I guess that is it for now. はい。素晴らしいです。もう、本当に素晴らしい。はい。So I don't know if you even learned anything because you're so good already, but 何か質問はありますか
？I think we're pretty good, honestly. I've managed to fill a few gaps inside of my knowledge. I've learned that ore is not as outcasted as I was convinced into believing, which means I'm still safe. I won't be crucified. We're doing great.
You're doing definitely awesome. 大丈夫ですよ。そう。ore is pretty normal. そう、お疲れ様でした。ありがとうございました。そう、最後にですね、So at the end, like I mentioned in the beginning, I am gonna give you homework to you all in the chat and also for you, Evolite-san, if you're interested. This isn't mandatory. So I actually have a video covering this format. I will be posting it on. Did I post it already? I probably didn't. I'll post it on the comments when I'm done with the stream. I have this personal policy that any questions or practice sentences that I get on YouTube on any of my Japanese videos, I'll respond to them at least 15 to 30 minutes every single day. So if you actually want to practice, you can make your practice sentences using the sentence structure you just saw in the chat because my PowerPoint didn't work out the way I hoped it would. And you can make your sentences. So next time. So 次回大丈夫。なんでね。So, comment 3 to 5 practice sentences and I'll actually give you free feedback. The hardest thing about, I know, learning is to receive constructive feedback because you don't want to pay for tutors that are so expensive. I mean, which is totally fine and fair, but you know what I mean. So, if you want to practice, check out the comment section when the stream is done and I'll give you... 待って。800人？ちょっとごめんなさい。
おめでとう。
ありがとうございます。びっくり。あらまあ。わお。皆さんありがとうございます。800人行きました。本当にありがとうございます。びっくりしましたね。皆様 Thank you so much. Well, I guess I reached 800. ドキドキ。
人気すごい。
いやでもね、ボライトさんも素晴らしいので、for those of you who are my viewers here today, Evolite-san sings awesomely. I listen to a lot of his covers, so go check him out. もてさんありがとうございます。いえ。ということで、エボライトさんね、本日コラボさせていただきましたエボライトさんですけれども、いつも素敵なね、いやまあね、お声もいいでしょ。なんか VTuber 向いてる声してんなって思うんですけどね。なんていうんだっけ、概要欄にね、チャンネルのリンクとか貼っておりますので、ぜひチェックしてみてください。めちゃくちゃね、お歌上手です。So, all of the links are on description box down below. So, go check him out. ですね。歌めっちゃ上手。ね、歌めっちゃ上手。私もびっくりしちゃいましたよ、もうね。めっちゃ歌うまいと思って。そう。カズネさん、こんばんは。歌が好きだから歌が好きなのは素晴らしいこと。カズネさん、もうそろそろ終わっちゃうんですけど、お越しいただきましてありがとうございます。はい。ということで、 I guess that will be it for today. あ、渋くて、あ、そう、渋い。Oh, new word of the day, エボライトさん。渋い is an adjective, adjective that will explain your voice. はい。渋い originally means like bitter, but it has, so 渋い, like for example, we say 渋いお茶 when we talk about bitter, like tea. But bitter doesn't always mean bad, you know? It also means good. It means that there's like depth to the taste. And so your voice is 渋くていい声です。
そうなんですか。
そうなんです。
お茶になった。
お茶じゃないけど、そう、渋くていい声ですね。そうですね。はい。ということで、まあ本日はこれにて以上となります。Yay! We managed to put it within an hour. はい。ということでね、D voice。そう、イケボ。イケボ。イケボ is イケメンボイス。そう、イケボ is short for イケメンボイスですよ。Japanese
That actually makes a lot more
is
sense.
Interesting. Oh, そっか。確かに。そう、イケボ is イケメンボイス。カワボ is かわいいボイス。and ハムボ is hamster voice。
なんでハムスター？
ハムボってハムスターボイスですよね。ハムボ is like I don't want to do it because it's going to be really cringe. But ハムボis like 皆様こんにちはみたいなのがハムボです。I don't even know if that like actually went on the stream. そうハムボそうね。ハムボとかね、そう、yeah, there's a lot of different kind of voices. お姉さんボイスとかもね、ありますからね。But anyways, はい、ということでね、ハム太郎みたいな声か。do you know ハム太郎 is like this Japanese anime and manga. The main character is a hamster.
Wait, is it the one with the really, really big cheeks and the pian eyes?
I think so. Maybe. So I guessハムボ is like ハム太郎 like voice. いやね、ちょっと日本語謎だからね。日本語 is really interesting. But anyways, はい、というちょっといつまでだっても終われないんでね。では本日はこれにて以上となります。That will be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining and please like and leave comments and I don't know what else to say, so that I will leave you with that. 皆様ありがとうございました。それではおやすみなさいませ。ごきげんよう。失礼します。バイバーイ。
まあね。